Hello, welcome to another episode of Understand Nation. We've got a fantastic week. I can't remember the last time I've been this excited over a week's releases. Like, seriously.
There were a lot of good releases. Like, I mean, granted, we always say that there's a lot of great releases, but you know,
Yeah.
we still mean it. We still mean it.
But I mean, like, you know, we had a couple of weeks where it's like the releases were good, but none that really had us like this hyped up like this week. Like, we haven't been this hyped up in what? I don't know. Feels like forever for me, anyways.
Feels like 3 weeks. It feels like 3 weeks.
Yeah. That's forever. All right.
That's forever in K-pop time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring in this first one because you guys know this is a group that I love. So, MCND with Not Over, and I'm glad it's not over because these guys are great.
Oh yeah,
man.
So here they kind of lighten up the mood a bit. Right, we're used to like these really like harder hitting hip hop releases from MCND, and here it's just a bit more of a, you know, with the start of the music video especially, right? You know, it's very bright. They're wearing like really colorful attire, which I really appreciate. And like, you know, they're even the choreography, right, is really bouncy and fun. The song reflects that, and it's not to say that it's still not really like hard hitting either. Like it's still got some heat in there.
Can I say, like, I really loved how they kind of introduced the song with the whistling. It kind of sets the tone and the energy. Like, all right,
Yep.
all right,
Yep.
but
Yeah. So Nick, you know, what do you think about the song, man?
Man, I love the song. It's nice to... So, a thing that I think is like forgotten a lot in K-pop, especially with these newly debuted groups, is that they're still kids, right?
right,
Yep.
You know, that they're still young, and I think a lot of that is glossed over depending on the group's concept.
right,
But here, like, it shows, right? It shows that, like, they're still kids, they're still young, you know, and I think that is an important part in, like, showing that to your fandom.
Yep.
And then also showing that to just, like, as a part of you.
right.
Because the music is where a lot of people really see what their idols are like, right?
Yep.
It's that and fan interactions and stuff. So, I think that is really important.
Right.
One thing I really liked was they had a ton of elements in this song that weren't necessarily fully built upon.
Yep.
So, you know, there were disco elements, right? There were jazz elements. There were just kind of funk elements.
But they never really let them get fleshed out.
Yeah.
And like that's something I really found interesting as well, because like, you know, as you start to kind of like come around to the song in your head, right? Like, oh, like it's starting to settle in. Nah, they've already moved on to something else. It keeps it fresh.
So I think a lot of that was them portraying the younger, like, ideology, right?
Right.
Yep.
So the thing is, we've even saw this in classical musicians. When classical musicians will want to portray young, naive thoughts, or almost like a child, right?
Yep.
They will have something very quick, very light, and always moving. And that's because typically younger people don't finish their thoughts out before they move on to something else. And as you get older, you're more, as you grow wiser, right? You learn to finish your thoughts and finish whatever you're doing before you move on to something else, leaving something unfinished. But obviously here, they're not doing that, right? Like you just talked about, Jihoon. They are, you know, kind of starting these ideas and then moving on to something else suddenly. And I think that portrays the youthful naivety and innocence very well.
Right.
It also adds to the addictiveness of the song. Like for myself, I listened to it end on end like several times. And like I had to stop myself because I had other music videos to get through, right?
Right.
Just like I was telling you guys pre-recording, and oh man, you know, not only just the song too, like even the music video. So you guys heard me complain about 4 boy groups, right, in last week's episode that we recorded. That a lot of boy groups, when they do their outfits and whatever, their attire for their music videos, there's a lot of all black and all white.
A lot of simplicity, a lot of repetitiveness. Yeah.
Yeah, but especially with the color palette of just all black and all white, which we did get a little bit of that in this music video, but not to that extent. Like, I'm talking about towards like the later half, where they had like the black attire, but they still had like other colors that popped out. Like, one dude's wearing a green shirt.
Yeah.
Or another dude's wearing a brown shirt, to kind of break up the monotony of the image. But like, from early on in the music video. So another thing that we do see sometimes as well is if it's not gonna be all black or all white, you're gonna go with like a very kitschy style, right? With really like loud, bright colors, and the intention, to be intentionally like visually loud.
Right.
They don't quite go that far. In the first part of the music video, where they got some more slightly subdued colors, right? Like you got that darker green, like the olive drab green, like the kind of dirt brown, sweater. So, it's much more. I don't know. I won't say like that's much more fresh to me because it's either all black, all white, or all loud colors. Usually black and white.
I mean, that's something we've kind of seen. Since their debut,
for the past 3 years. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Since their debut, we've seen them utilize like the usual like colors of black, white, red, but then they kind of mix it in with their own like style, their own kind of flair. And that's kind of like why I believe that the three of us, we became so like supportive of them. So we greatly support this group and find their like music, their style, the music videos like so interesting, is because while they still utilize this usual boy group kind of like repetitive styles, they also try to like add in their own flair. And that's not to say other groups don't, but it's just that this one's more noticeable and easily noticeable.
Especially for people like us who we keep track of the releases every day, week after week. So like when things get repetitive, they get really repetitive for us, like across all the different labels and groups and artists. Man, the choreography here is so fun. Like it looks like a lot of fun to perform this choreography, and I would actually love to practice it myself. Just the way they're performing it too, it seems like they're having a lot of fun performing their own choreography.
Right.
Nick, you mentioned too that they practiced and trained in America, right, for street dancing. Like I think you brought that up, like when we talked about their pre-debut with the TOP gang.
Possibly, I'm not sure. I remember anymore.
I mean, it definitely makes sense as to because like you see it, that a very like American-esque, like that kind of very strong individuality, powerful, like charismatic movements that you see from TOP gang, and you see it here as well, and it's just really further refined. I really enjoy the choreographies for all of their music videos. Aura, kind of take us through this journey of the music video.
Well, this entire music video, like we've said before, is very colorful. It's very similar to the song, something that Nick mentioned before, where there's so many different aspects going on, almost as if it's not. How do I say this?
It doesn't settle into one scene.
Yeah.
Or one.
Yeah, it's
visual theme.
Yeah, but it also works at the same time to flow together into one scene, like. It's like it's poppy, it's kind of crashy. Like they don't fully complete a scene before transitioning, but at the same time it transitions almost seamlessly into the next scene where there's small hints that connects each scene, and I think that's what works so well, is that it's quick, it's fast, but at the same time that quickness and that fastness isn't just like slow. There's hints to kind of make it flow, and I think that's what works so well with this music video.
Yeah, Yeah, that's actually, so I'm glad you brought that up, because that is actually really brilliant in some of the ways that they did the transitions. Like in one scene, right, the cue that you're talking about for like a transition could be that they're zooming out, they're slowly zooming out, and then that right itself, that is the transition. Like the next scene is them further zooming out into like the new scene.
Exactly.
Or could be like the color palette that you see that's established from like the scenery, like the walls of like a room or whatever, right? And that kind of will visually correlate into like the next scene. You know? I really enjoyed all that.
But
do you guys remember what was it? Last week we were talking about scenes that we recognize in in other videos.
For Pixie with wings.
That helipad scene.
Yeah.
I've seen that in so many songs.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And like I was like in my head I was like, this looks really familiar. Have I seen this before? So I was going back to like the list of MVs, and yeah, I've seen it quite a lot of times.
Yeah, and TOP Media especially uses it a lot. Like, yep.
They really enjoy that helipad scene. I think that is really cool that like companies have like scenes that they really enjoy using.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that kind of makes this is a TOP media song, or this is a whatever.
We kind of talked a little bit about that before. Not for a long while. Like probably 2019 was when I last brought this up. I think like labels will have their kind of certain like visual style, right? Like SM, you can recognize an SM music video. You can recognize like a YG music video. Even just from things like the certain like lens hardness that you use for just for the video part itself. Like just that that was kind of like little hints. But also like like you just said, right, with these scenes, to kind of establish like this world. You're building their own world within their music videos for the label. That's really fascinating. I enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a roller coaster of a song!
It is a wild ride.
Video.
It is definitely a wild ride.
You guys already know. Yet another album. Like I think I'm up to like $300 worth of albums I have to buy. That I have yet to buy.
Yup, same. Yup.
And this is on a must buy for me. So this is gonna go to like to the top of the stack of albums I'm gonna like buy like right away. Oh man. You guys ready? Moving on to the next one.
All right, let's do it.
Well, Aura, you already know this is gonna be all you, bro.
All
so
right.
Go for it.
So our next artist is a Japanese artist who recently worked with Momo for a re-release MV. It is going to be YukaDD with the music video 21 by 21 or 2121. I don't know how it's going to be pronounced, but so a little bit of background about her is that when she was younger, she was part of a J-pop group called Little Glee Monster, I believe it was. But then she left the group, and she didn't resurface till 2020. So I don't know much about her past, but listening to some of her recent stuff, it's been really good, and I also really enjoyed this one as well.
It really felt like a no-brainer with the sheer presence of all the brass instrumentation in the song.
Yeah. I can't. The moment I saw the brass instruments come in, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm losing this one. I am losing this one."
Yeah. So, Nick, why don't you go ahead and bring us in with your analysis?
So we start off definitely with those really deep, powerful, push forward vocals. As well as, like you talked about, the brass instruments giving it a more jazz oriented vibe. Jazz has also been really known to have those push forward vocals, especially with what people call a hidden power aspect, meaning that the vocalist is really powerful but doesn't need to showcase it to make it apparent. And making your voice very weighted is a way that they do that.
Right.
We've seen in the past that YukaDD has a naturally weighted voice.
Right.
So this style is a no-brainer, like easy style for her to do.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I'm not entirely a fan of jazz, type of stuff, especially the more full send jazz.
Yeah.
I actually really like this because it is more than just jazz. There's a very innate pop influence here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With that bass. That's really present throughout the whole song.
Yep. It's not a normal jazz bass. It is a pop bass.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Also, the drum track is more poppy, as well as just the faster pace in general.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy this because I feel like it is not full send jazz, but also it's not pop. It's something kind of uniquely in between.
Yeah. And like you mentioned with her vocal style, I can't remember the last time I've heard like this style of vocalization for a song. Like probably been like decades or something.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a classic style from an era, years ago. And in fact, if you go to like Motown releases right from like the 70s and the 80s, you do see a bit of that. Was it like I think it was Aretha Franklin. I can't remember, but it's a classic style that we're familiar with. We don't hear a whole lot of lately.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's another element that kind of keeps it fresh.
Yeah. And that huskiness, and that comes through her voice, like you usually don't hear that in J-pop or like a lot of J songs, at least for like female artists. Usually you
because I was about to say, it just reminded me. I only just realized like 2 minutes ago, Nami Amuro. She was like the last big like J-pop artist that had like a similar kind of vocal timbre.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she retired like what, 2017 or 2018?
A few years ago, and I was so sad that day when I found out. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sad."
But like with her vocals, man, because I knew that you love Nami.
Mm-hmm.
That to me was just like yet another reason why that you would love this song.
Yeah, and like I know you and Nick don't really like nasally vocals. So
I do. So I do like nasally vocals, just natural. I don't like the fake forced.
Yeah,
it has to be natural.
And I'm very much the same way. I think that a singer shouldn't have to change their voice to fit a song style.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fit the song style, like, and you're way outside of that, then different song. Like it's not hard.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't like forced voice types.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a lot of like. In this song, for example, if this was a different singer, they might weight their voice intentionally to make this to fit, and it's not gonna sound right. It's gonna actually could possibly, depending on how much they have to weight their voice, do damage to the voice instead. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, which is something that you had mentioned like before, while we were waiting for Jihoon to come in.
Yep. I went back and looked at a lot of her songs to make sure that this wasn't just a one-off. Because the name escaped me.
Yeah.
And so I went back and looked at a bunch of her songs to make sure that this wasn't just a one-off that she was weighting her voice for, that this was a natural thing for her.
Right.
Yeah.
And once I found it was, I liked the song a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish I kind of found her before as well, because I didn't learn about her as an artist till Superhero, when she collaborated with Momo from Twice.
Right.
And, I think that brought a lot of new fans, and I think these kinds of collaborations are really good for other artists, because, it shows us so many amazing artists like YukaDD.
Yep.
So, with this song, the lyrics, the song has a very bright, fun energy to it.
Right.
Paired with her weighted vocals, kind of give a is I don't know, it's much more kind of a powerful kind of sense of motivation, right?
Yeah, it almost uplifts your spirits in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. The lyrics are also much the same way. You know, the lyrics, not, I won't say like they're like super original, right? But they're not like, you know, really like what's it called, generic either. It's very fun, uplifting kind of lyrics. There was at one point in the song we were talking about like you know, what was it, a friend from Osaka, and like one of their senpais at work, and whatever. And just like I remember, I gotta go back and listen to that part. But I remember when I heard that, it's like I got a chuckle out of it because it just came. It felt really random, you know. I really liked it, and you know, throughout the whole song too, where she even thought the word "idol" kind of referring to like love. You know, it's kind of like the whole thing of like you know just kind of love. You know, what you really need is just a little bit of love. That's kind of like the like medicine in life or something like that. That's not the exact words or the exact lyrics. That's not even like close to what the lyrics mean, but it's just kind of like the feeling that they give. Oh yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
I have fun listening to it.
And like the music video itself, it's like very glamorous as well. Like
very glamorous, and at times like a parody, because like they have parodies of like a aerobic dance like videos, and like a horror scene, but it's like a kind of a parody of a horror scene.
And like, you know, it's just parodying basically almost an entire era, because it's like almost set in the 80s or whatever. And
they came with the aerobic scene.
And then like you also see like the dad and the daughter in the music video just kind of like fighting.
That's so
over
cute.
It was like, it wasn't in a mean way, it was in a fun kind of cute fatherly daughter way, and
just a little bit of funny poutiness.
Exactly, and I think that helps.
They come together at the end.
Exactly, and I think that's something that, you know, we all kind of go through. You know, we may argue sometimes with our friends, our family, whatever, and kind of coming together in the end. I think that helps pair really well with the music video, you know.
Yeah, so this song is definitely be something like I would like to watch live, you know.
Oh yeah,
being like a jazz bar or something, just watch it live, you know, get uplifted, you know, put into a feel good mood.
Yeah.
Happy hour in the jazz bar. Oh man, if only, right? One of these days we'll get there, boys.
One of these days
we'll get there, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Just open a big dance floor, and then we'll just have YukaDD just start singing 21 by 21, and then we'll just all kind of just dance.
Hey, and you can't want me to have my adult drink, so. All right. So, Nick, this next one, come on, man. You already know.
So we've talked about the artists before. Actually, all of them before.
Yes.
So this is Dept. With Amin. Amin and Dept have collabed before, quite a few times actually. We talked about their last song, which the name escapes me, but
I think it was okay.
I think so. So we talked about their last song, and if you remember, we all definitely loved it.
We did a whole listening session like after the recording too.
Yeah, and this song is "I Can't Sleep" featuring Nason. Nason has also worked with Amin and Dept before a ton of times, so the chemistry there definitely shows in this song as well. But man, this song. So
when I checked it out last night, I couldn't wait to post it into the chat for you guys to check out.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm a little bit like
in depth.
I'm a little bit separated just because it's not a music video, it's a lyric video. So I mean, it's nice to have subs, like, actually in the lyric video as well.
But they also got the flower petals too, like floating down. I love that.
Yeah, it's a nice aspect, but it's still a lyric video in the end.
That's all you need with a song like this.
Right. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah. I also feel like the instrumentation here, there could have been no better choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Amin's voice is naturally very stripped away.
Yep.
It's a very raw vocal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very smooth. And so opting for that acoustic guitar with just a bass and a little bit of drum inside of it.
Yep.
Man.
That light percussion is I feel like that light percussion is absolutely perfect. Was absolutely the right play.
Yep. 100%, man.
It's just with the wispiness of her vocal delivery here.
Yeah. Also, can we talk for a second about how good Dept is at mixing and mastering?
Bruh.
Man, like, he almost turns it into an art.
Right.
Because, like, every song that Dept has produced, there is, like, no faults in mixing and mastering, ever.
It's so good.
Man. And so, actually, I wasn't fully sold on this when Amin was singing. You know, I was just like, yeah, this is okay, and whatever. Man, when Nason came in, that transition, how it was just seamless and effortless, and then Nason's vocals, how it's just so smooth. I was sold.
Yeah, because, like, you know, the song, it's a very, like, soothing, you know, song with Amy's vocals, right? And the instrumentation.
Right.
It's very soothing. You know, it's perfect for it in the evening. You get off of work, just want to relax. You know, get ready to go to bed. Right. This is a song for right before going to bed. But with Nason, like, it kind of injects like a bit of life, you know, into the song. Like, hey, it's like here reminding you, like, hey man, you need to breathe. So
yeah,
you know,
man, I took my idea was an exact opposite approach to that, actually. My idea was, like, I wake up in the morning, and it's, like, you know, 6, 7 in the morning. It's very early. Dude's just set. Go outside, and, like, I'm listening to the song, you know.
Let me build on that. Waking up in the morning on the weekend, on your day off.
Yeah.
This is a great way to start off the day. This is a great way to end the day.
Yep. 100% just what I imagined. And I was like, there's no better way to, like that song is to like wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I listen to music first thing in the morning, I don't want to listen to, like, hard rock or metal or something. You know, that's not good. I'm not gonna want to wake up that way. You know, so this is, like, perfect with how smooth and whatever. I just gotta make sure I'm standing up, or else I might fall back asleep.
Now with the flower petals that, you know, kind of fluttering down in the lyric video.
Right.
And the kind of overall pink hue of the image, like, I would love to just go on a picnic, you know, underneath some, you know, sakura trees, and enjoy.
It definitely gives them ethereal, almost romantic feel to, like, the entire, like, even though it's just a lyric video, it helps enhance the etherealness, the romanticized, like, music, you know. It's calming, it's relaxing, like, and I could honestly see something that you guys described as an actual music video for this song, you know. Grabbing some coffee and seeing Amin or Dept or Nason, like, anyone from the, like, any that would sing or something, like, just grabbing a cup of coffee to this song, you know.
Yeah.
It would have been really nice to see.
Grab a cup of coffee, go out to the park, sit underneath the trees.
Yep. Man. This song is so perfectly done. And one thing I really like about it is the lyrics are also really relatable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everyone at some point has experienced, like, bouts of not being able to sleep. You know, and that sucks. Because, you know, you need to get to bed, you need to wake up in the morning, do something or whatever, and you just can't fall asleep. And I feel like they perfectly, talk about that kind of problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. But also, like, depending on your interpretation, there could also be underlying meanings and stuff as well.
Yeah, because like parts of the song, right, where you're talking about like especially for a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure like everyone can attest to this, right? When you can't go to sleep because you got so many like thrashing, conflicting feelings in your head that you're trying to process through. And she does call that out in the lyrics at some point, where she says like, when that's happening, I'll just sing the song for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, she's like she is the medicine that we need. And
and I mean, she even says like, I don't know if it can be a comfort, but it was something like, I don't know if it can be a comfort, but like, I don't remember the lyric, but like, it's she's showing that like, or it's like you don't need to be alone anymore, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's with Nason when he comes in. Like, you had a hard day. I don't need to ask you about it. You can lean your head on my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is such a great song. Lyrically, musically, vocally.
And like a lot of the time, artists don't make the song feel super personal. Mm-hmm. We don't hear it, especially in like the big companies, where the songs feel like personally directed, right?
Right.
But I feel like this is one of those songs where like it can feel personally directed towards the listener. It sounds like they're singing to you, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closed soundstage really helps with that too.
Yeah. And especially with the with the big companies, right? Big labels. You're always left in question, like, how much of the artist's intention was put in here into that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how much of it was at the direction of the label, corporate execs.
Mm-hmm.
So, with a production like this, where because you talked about before recording, for Dept, like he has his own label, basically, produced
Dept Music,
and this is 100%, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no committee of all these people, directing the song or any of that. It's just them. So.
And so this really came from them,
Yep, from the heart, from their hearts. Oh man.
Should we move it on?
I know. Yes, we absolutely need to, because like Nick said, he could go on 20 minutes of the song. I could go on 20 minutes of the song. We could make a whole episode of just the song. So let's just move it on to this next one. So, Rain B, legendary K-pop artist. I think he debuted either late into the first gen or early into the second gen.
I think it's
He's been around for a long time.
I think it was early second gen.
So and that was back when he was still under JYP as well.
Mm-hmm.
With Why Don't We featuring Chungha. Nick, why don't you go ahead and just kind of take us through the journey of this song?
Man, so this song starts off with a really smooth intro.
So smooth.
We just talked about it recently, how not a lot of people are exploring that kind of area that like Taemin has dominated for a while.
Yeah.
And this intro definitely kind of introduces us into that kind of area. The song is faster than a typical like Taemin song or something would be, but it's definitely kind of in that kind of style. Maybe some influence from that.
Right.
But man, I think Rain's voice matches really well with it as well.
Yeah, this the vocal style here is very much a signature of Rain that we've always seen from even from when he debuted.
Right.
And when he debuted, he was much more R&B-ish, like contemporary R&B at the time. And so for this song, like you just talked about, right, with this kind of smoothness to it, it's I'm really enjoying seeing like this aspect of the. So,
I also found it interesting when they took all that smoothness and they just, when they went into the chorus, they went into that electronica EDM chorus. They just they just cut the smoothness so abruptly and went into this really choppy EDM chorus. It felt like I changed songs almost.
Yeah, because even it used a little bit of what's one of the offshoots of like a funky house almost. Yeah.
I kind of want to say that this song is almost a mix of early Rain, you know, because you know it second gen, you know, it was a very different era, but it's also a mix of like the newer gen with the whole EDM style and kind of like what we've been seeing with more boy groups lately, you know. It definitely feels like a good like mix of the two.
Yeah, I definitely am always like very 50-50 on when like really old artists like this have a comeback, because I mean we've seen it like even from Rain and JYP. Usually they come back with retro throwback styles because that was the style they knew best when they were singing or that they grew up on, right?
Right.
I mean for more recent releases, because like his release from 2017 with Gang was much more contemporary at the time. But I know what you're talking about in terms of like the past couple years, because the retro thing has been so predominant. Yeah.
So, I was very excited to see that it was like at least some modern influence. It was still rather retro. You know, those choppy EDM synths haven't really been in style for a while.
Yeah, not since what, 2010? Around
something like that. Yeah, it was
2005.
I mean, I don't know when it really came into fruition inside of Korea, but inside of America it was, you know, 2013, 2015. It was really coming through.
It was around the same time.
Yeah, so everyone was really loving house and stuff at the time, dubstep and whatever.
Oh, dubstep. Let's not go back to dubstep.
And I mean, and then having it also pairing with Chungha, because recently, you know, we've gotten to know more of her vocals, especially from like Bicycle. But
Bicycle was awesome.
Yeah,
still is.
It definitely is. But like, you know, because like we're also very much used to like Chungha being a soloist now after IOI, but you know she's usually taken more of a Latin inspired spin on her music. So seeing her kind of participate in this kind of retro modern kind of mix is actually a really interesting take, and I think it works pretty well with her vocals as well, and seeing how it pairs with Rain, you know.
Was it the sound also has it can almost be, it's not too far off from Future Funk as well, which Future Funk had came into prominence in like the past couple of years. Like I won't say prominence, but like you've seen a lot of groups do it. Like we had X1, we had GOT7,
right?
ATEEZ One. Well, I mean, it doesn't go full send into Future Funk. It just like barely touches on some aspects where you just need to change the instrumentation a little bit more to get into it. One thing that stood out to me in the music video
is that
Laura, you remember how
I thought you were gonna say that it was the one thing that stood out was that it wasn't gonna be on KBS.
Oh well, I mean, yeah. So you remember how you would always bring up the trope of the water scenes in music videos? So here, instead of a water scene, but they use it to a similar effect, they had that sand pit with the red sand.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually really cool. Really, like a really interesting take on that concept.
I mean, I think it works really well using sand, because using sand, like if you do it in sand, it like that impression is just left there, you know, and that's something that you don't get with the water. Water kind of just ripples and kind of like mellows out eventually. And
you know how hard it is to dance in sand?
Oh,
that's hard.
Doing like walking or like even like kind of working out in sand is hard, dude.
Yeah. but they're doing some powerful movements on the sand. So.
Yeah, and it very much prevents because when it comes to water, it'll splash up when you do those powerful moves. When it comes to sand, it absorbs so much of that power. So yeah,
and the power is still kind of inferred because the sand, it will kick over, sure, right? But it won't splash up as grand as water does. So it still showcases their power, but not in a very in your face kind of way.
And I think that very much works for Rain's kind of style.
Especially the style here because everything's much more smoother, kind of subdued in a way.
Yeah,
black and white.
Definitely makes everything very smooth. So yeah. But then you'll get in the. I also found a little part of me did get some PTSD from this music video though. From the in the beginning, you hear the internet connection noise and the dial tones and whatever.
The dial-up tone, yeah.
The dial-up.
Yep, the dial-up. I'm like, oh, I don't miss that. I do not miss that. God.
I think Chungha did a really good job here. It's really hard for a male and female vocalist to sing on the same track because the key of the track has to be in a very neutral tone. If it's too deep, the female vocalist will sound disconnected, and if it's too high, the male vocalist will sound disconnected, or even on the same pitch as the song, which then it just blends together.
Right.
So I think Chungha did a really good job, but also I think the the producer did a great job knowing that this was gonna be, they probably already knew that this was gonna be a collab of some sort with a female vocalist because this song worked out way too well.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the airiness of her vocals, that natural airiness of hers, and the smooth delivery of Rain throughout the song. And likewise, he talked about with the instrumentation as well. It's not, it's not something we're along of trap, right, where it's very bass ridden and hard hitting, a lot of momentum, stuff that would thrash with kind of with her vocals.
Right.
It all very much accentuates each other very well. His vocals, her vocals, the musical accompaniment.
And can I say the dance was amazing. Rain
that's
and
where I was going to go next.
Are amazing dancers, and just seeing them paired up, that dance was just amazing.
Yeah, that's where I was wanting to go to next because when Rain debuted, he was very well known for his dance abilities, and seeing him in this music video is bro, the man has not slowed down at all.
Oh yeah,
he still got it, and I guess what really contrasts compared to his earlier solo work, it was much more sensual, a lot more pelvic movements, shoulder movements, and here it's a lot more footwork. So in addition to what we've seen from B before, or Rain,
right.
So I really enjoyed the choreography here.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, he's got moves for sure. Especially after everything we said about Wonho last week, man, Wonho and Rain together, they will set the scene on fire.
Oh yeah.
So many abs.
So many abs, right? So many abs. We're already,
together they've got 12 pack, dude.
So imagine they do a collab, right? You guys already know how I'm gonna intro that topic. Yeah, so we got Rain's abs and we got Wonho's abs featuring Rain and Wonho.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
all right. So you guys are moving on to the next one, to our last topic, which is an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, Nick, go on.
Are you gonna give it to me?
Yeah.
Yes, full unhinged fanboy engaged now.
All right, so we got comeback of the year. No, I'm just but it's definitely probably OST of the year.
Oh my god.
This is Bibi with Timeless. So this is an OST for... Remind me of what drama this is.
Oh, Monster.
Okay, yeah. So this is for Monster on JTBC. Man. Like, I have never heard Bibi
Not like this.
Not like this, right?
Yeah.
They're so... We talked about it before, how she has so much charisma in her voice, and she has so much swag. Mm-hmm. There is zero of that in the song.
Yeah.
So...
And not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
No,
it was actually the correct
really
way. Yeah.
So if Bibi had a ton of charisma and swag in the song, it would have taken away from... It wouldn't have made a good OST. It would have made a better comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a good OST because it would have taken away from the scene and the set.
Within the show. Or...
And whatever's happening. It would have brought too much attention to the music.
Yeah.
That's why OSTs are generally, for lack of a better term, blander than normal comebacks.
They're more...
That's because they need to be.
More atmospheric. They're meant to kind
Yeah.
of set into like an atmosphere to pair with the visuals on the screen. Yeah.
And if you had told me when we first got onto BB that she could be an amazing atmospheric singer, I would have been like, she has a little too much swag for that.
Yep.
Man, did she prove us wrong? She set an amazing atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What's more amazing is that the instrumentation is actually a very closed soundstage.
Right.
But her voice is the only thing that makes the soundstage so open.
Mm-hmm.
Like her voice and the reverb on her voice.
Yep.
Makes the soundstage so open. It makes it sound like you're literally listening to it like on a concert.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh yeah.
And
so like you mentioned that she turned off the charisma here, and we've seen it before when she was recording with Hichul and Chanhyun for Hanjang, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when she was standing by in the studio waiting for her
Bro.
to record, on
Child.
like a light switch,
Yeah.
boom, like swag on.
Bro, yeah, because I mean, when like you talked about, when she was waiting for her turn,
she was so suppressed.
literal child,
Yeah.
literal child,
Yeah, she
literal child.
She looked like a child waiting for for her turn to go present or go to the doctor's office or whatever, just waiting patiently. Yeah,
And then she went in there, and it was like suddenly charisma, swag, all of it.
Yeah. All of a sudden, like here's this monster of an artist.
Yeah, like what the
Unleashed.
heck?
So like
she was a different person.
So like for her vocals that's showcased here in this song, it really it just makes sense.
Yeah,
so
and
good.
I mean, I don't think we've ever heard more raw vocal from BB than this song.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I can't think of any.
The extended notes, the connection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think usually she maintains a very rap heavy
Yep.
trap style. That's just what she likes.
Yep.
And I mean, coming from the company she's in, I mean, Yoonmi especially, right?
Yeah.
It's very natural that would be what she likes.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I really like this.
Here she sounds like an actual vocalist.
Yeah.
Singer.
I do like how we still maintained the BB nasal.
Yeah.
That very forward nasal that she has.
Right.
But natural.
I mean, you even hear it when she's talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
She talks nasally. Which,
it's so cute too.
Yeah. So she talks nasally, which a lot of singers that sing nasally don't often talk nasally.
Mm.
It's just the way they've been taught to sing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they had a more nasal singing, but they usually typically their normal singing voice is far different and also much lower.
Right.
But I mean, this is very much in her talking range.
Yeah.
And also in just her normal nasal.
Yep. Oh man, yeah. If you were to have showed this to me for the first time, right, and you didn't include the title, the artist, or anything like that, the last person I would have guessed was Bibi. I would have thought it was someone else.
Yeah, I definitely would have been like, man, this person sounds a lot like Bibi, but it's not Bibi.
Yeah, it's like she's got like she's got Bibi vocal timbre, but it's not Bibi. Can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that like you would want to walk into like a building with like a store that's like just plays atmospheric music to. This is one of those kind of songs.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, like Gene, like you said, if someone showed me this and like kept the artist name out of it and everything, I mean, I might have even thought this was like more Japanese, like a Japanese artist based on the nasal, you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been surprised at all. Especially because Bibi's vocal timbre and the nasaliness comes, like Japan has an affinity for it, you know?
Yeah, they definitely place a premium on that quality.
Yep. But man, now that I know that she can do something like this as well,
does it make you more excited for her, like for what she can do?
Yeah, like, I mean, I want more.
Yeah, just like she's always showcasing something new that she's capable of. That's blows us out of the water. Like,
can she just do the entire OST while she's at it? That'd be great. Thanks.
I would be down with that.
I'd buy it, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, like this song very much also reminds me of like soundtracks from like American like early like 2000s American shows as well.
Like especially like crime dramas or
crime dramas or something like Smallville. So always.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. This definitely sounds like something that American dramas would put in when there's either a loss of life in the show, or some tragedy of some sort. Because
some kind of inner conflict.
Yep, that's when they really like to set the atmosphere of a song. That is one thing that is contrary to Korean dramas, where Korean dramas just like to have an atmosphere pretty much throughout the entirety of the of the drama, whereas American dramas want a generally closed atmosphere until something happens, like either an epiphany or some tragedy or something like that.
And I can very much see this song by Bibi just being played in like American shows because of that's very much the style of it. And I think it would just work just as well. Especially, I think her vocal for this would work and be very much enjoyed by the American audience.
Yep. It'd also be a good intro song for an American drama as well.
So this is a bit random. I don't know how I came up with this, but you know where else I would enjoy hearing this? In a clothing store. Well, I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna, what kind of image I'm gonna go for. Well, like
right.
And kind of more like a chic, kind of like a business casual type of store, or kind of like a more upscale kind of, image that you're trying to go for, like at a club or something, at a lounge bar.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. You're right.
I don't know how that came about in my head, but somehow it makes sense to me.
It just happens. It just happens.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know this. For you, the viewers, you probably have not picked up on this, but I'm really random. You guys have seen my random things that just pop up in my head out of nowhere. So.
I mean, it's us. At this point, it's us. Up with it. It's us. Like.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we all got it.
I don't know what to talk about. I'm not random.
Right.
Right. So, are you guys have we decided on our pick of the week?
No.
I have not.
I have.
Oh.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, this one was rather easy for me. Bibi with Timeless.
Good
Bro.
pick.
No way, man.
Yeah, and I just dropped that on you like right before we started recording too.
Yeah, there's no contest with this one, man. I had a lot actually that I really liked this week. We kind of organize our picks before to figure out what we're talking about, and man, I had a lot that I actually really enjoyed. But man, there is no like the atmosphere and like the unexpectedness of the song.
Yep.
There's no way I couldn't. Aside from that, like I would have to give it to Dept, but
right,
bruh. So I'm struggling between that, BB and MCND.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so go for it.
I mean, they're all good, but for me, I think I've got my pick. If you're still deciding yours.
Go for it.
Mine is YukaDD.
Yep.
21 by 21.
Not surprised.
The huskiness of her voice, something that we don't usually hear in female Japanese artists. And kind of the bass, the uplifting feeling. Like,
yep.
It's
that fun, bright, yep.
It's honestly a really good song. So, that's gonna be my pick for the week.
Oh man. So what makes it easy for me to not pick Bibi is because Nick already picked it. So it's like I'm saying, like Nick just picked it on my behalf. So thanks, Nick.
No problem, we got you.
I'm still stuck between MCND and Amin and Dept. So you know what? Because I'm gonna go for Amin and Dept.
And they're
MCND is so close.
And these are all honestly good choices, and even the ones that we didn't get a chance to talk about.
Check out the description, because there is definitely a lot more amazing songs that we did not get a chance to talk about. So that out of the way, Aura, you want to take us into our first quick shot?
Yeah. So, somewhat of a good news, bad news, depending on how you want to look at it. Shiroma Miru, if anyone remembers, she is from Produce 48. She was one of the AKB 48, NMB 48, or she's NMB 48, but she was one of the more popular contestants on the show, and she just recently announced her graduation from NMB. I don't think that they've set a date yet for when she's graduating, but she has announced that she would be graduating from NMB 48. So best of luck to her. Wish her all the best, and hopefully a safe send off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, Nick.
Yeah. So we've talked about Rolling Quartz quite a few times.
Amazing.
Mainly about their debut. But they recently did I guess it's more of a rearrangement. They didn't really call it a cover or a rearrangement, but they did a rearrangement of Dreamcatcher's Goodnight. A lot more metal inspired. But definitely really, really amazing. A nice dual guitar solo.
Yeah. Yes.
Man, so definitely go check that out. It's really, really, really amazing. The link for that will also be in the description.
Yeah.
So definitely go take a look.
So it's Jihoon's turn.
So we talked about Brave Girls and how Roland came into back into prominence as of late, and apparently almost got a perfect all kill. Like, Nick, how far off were they from a perfect all kill?
Well, according to my Twitter timeline, which is a thing, they were only a couple spots. It was, I think they were like third at one point. On the real streaming charts. So, they were only a couple spots off of a perfect all kill.
Yep, for a song that originally released in 2017.
And I mean, it's been having great success, like regardless of almost getting a perfect all kill. They've hit number ones on multiple streaming charts now.
Yeah.
In the real times. Man,
it's absolutely fantastic.
That's actually insane.
That is absolutely amazing.
It's not often that we get to see songs come back into prominence like years after initial release.
No, it's not very rare.
Yeah, it's
it is very rare. Sorry.
I want to say it's like only the second instance I've heard of this in the past like 3 or 4 years. Because the other one that I'm thinking of is with Rain with Gang. He had a song originally released in 2017, came back into like massive prominence in Korea. Late 2019 to 2020, where it became like one of the most popular memes in Korea. But then like the music video like got a lot of views and song got a lot of streams from it.
Yeah, memes are powerful.
Memes are powerful. So. All right, well, we've had an awesome episode. So I think it's time to wrap it up. Please take it away, Nick.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Wonstein Nation. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon if you want to know when we upload in the future. All our socials will be in the links down below, along with all of the MVs, and anything we may have talked about that is interested to you. Yeah, we thank you again to all of our patrons. We appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.